Okay,
Great.
yes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of For Those Who Believe, this wonderful podcast from all the sons and daughters of the Casa from all over the world. And today I'm delighted to have my beautiful friend, Sunflower Joy, who has been with us in the Casa for the last 5 years and who has been an absolute amazing support to everybody who has come to the Casa since COVID, and before that, in 2019, when the Casa was slowing down a lot. And also, I am grateful to the medium for bringing us all together, and that we would never have met had it not been for Medium Joao. So, I want to start off today just by asking you, Sunflower, um, about your journey to the Casa. We are 55 different nations plus. I'm from Ireland. You're from China originally, and you've lived around the world. So let us know how you came to the Casa, and let's just talk about the Casa now in 2025. So off you go.
Okay. First of all, thank you for Big Sister Grainne to bring people together and sharing her experience and wisdom. And definitely, I'm one of the souls, which is considered star seeds, the indigo ray, being guided and challenged through all these times. So, quite a few years ago, I was studying with my teacher Elizabeth, which is connect with Egyptian mythology, and I went with her to Egypt for the sacred journey, and also Nepal exploring Tibetan Buddhism. So back in 2013, she mentioned my medium jaw having an event and that was 2014, November. So out of curiosity, she flew from Adelaide and I flew from Melbourne. So that was a 3 days event. And later I found out, Grania, what you are there. And then also with a lot of people, the team. Yeah, back then was 2 or 3 thousand people. On one hand, looks busy, but on the other hand, that 3 days mostly I was spending inside that small meeting room, and the energy feels very strong. And I still remember the first time I drink the blessed water, it feels like a 10 or 20 coffee effect. I was like the movie, the squirrel flying to the wall, that effect. So yeah, it was super memorable. And I don't remember, like, normally, if it's a lot of people, it should be very busy, but it seems everything blended at the background. So after 3 days, and then I went home, back to Melbourne, and then my life is turning upside down a lot. So I back then was busy, and then also was attending a few spiritual group. But all of a sudden, everything stopped. I could not continue with the lifestyle, which is working late and then super busy, and then some of the groups have to stop going. So and then had a near death experience in just right around
Wow.
10 years ago. So that was a time that was you can
Wow.
say so has a few exit points. So I definitely reached a point that of exhaustion. But I guess I wasn't meant to leave. And I remember seeing my soul is that Saturday evening I was so exhausted and I feel like the ceiling become more clear. So my soul is kind of on the way out. And then my teacher kind of helped me and then went to hospital. So it's a life renewing experience.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I didn't make it to CAS in 2015, but take about a year for everything to line up to restore. So finally 2016 in March, so I went with Nicole, which is she lives in Australia. She's a lovely guide. So when
Yes.
I make it to Casa, that was the peak of
Lovely.
the Medium's career. There's a lot of people, a few thousand people go through the line, was very busy. And then from 2016 until 2019, for about that's 3, 4 years, I happened to, yeah, come like almost twice a year for 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh,
So I
great.
I can see um my experience that I show up at the peak of the um Casa Casa energy or the medium's career, and then experience a lot of changes. Even 2 or 3 weeks, it take me 6 months to digest, and I come back again. Even though Australia is halfway across the road, it's very far, but when the soul is calling, when the entity is calling, and then there's nothing can stop you from going somewhere, stop from changing. So yeah, and then when the world is shutting down, and then right before that, I had a very heavy feeling. So I literally changed my plan, even though 2020 have a different plan. So again, I was planning again for 3 weeks here, but that was right in the middle of the world is shutting down. So I didn't intend to stay, but somehow the soul has a bigger plan. So I happened to see a big difference from 2018, like Christmas, and then the medium left, and then I continue come back in 2019. So I see there's less people, and 2020, 2021. So I guess I happen to see from the peak of the most busiest time, and then there's all
Mm,
sorts of people from all over the world to the quiet period from to things slow down from 2018 to 2019 until throughout 2021, and until start some people start coming back. So I am grateful that I'm observing like a place from its peak popularity to um, almost empty and to recovering. So it's significant changes overall. Yeah. At the same time, like people who really returned means they have a great faith. And then regardless of um, controversial, what people say, what people believe, what really happened, I feel this is a lot less relevant that the human nature and also the human spirit and how much entity, which I can refer as ascended master, Buddha, Jesus, and they all the teacher at a different realm, and Dr. Augusto, and then Dominacio, Santa Rita. So to me, they are enlightened teachers. So they are always with
mm,
us. And regardless human limitation, regardless of ego frictions, regardless less of, what happened to um, the structure. And then, yeah, to
yeah.
me, this is quite a journey of observing and then focus on faith and allowing entity to continue helping us. Yeah, rather than
Mm,
get distracted, rather than going to criticize, and then back to the heart of the
mm,
gratitude, and yeah, to embrace the cycle of change in a peaceful way. Yes.
mm. And how many people have you met in the last 5 years you've been in Abadiania, which is a different place now than it was when it was at the height of its career, if you like. Um, you have met so many people who have come there for the first time, and you've
Hmm.
helped so many people. You are always there for everyone. So, how many people have you met for the first time in Abidjan?
Actually, what's interesting, there are quite a few people arrived after they never seen the medium. They just feel guided. And then also it's probably the timing for them to heal and transform. And some people, as in the past, a lot of people come to Casa because that's the last resort. The doctor can no longer help them. So they have life-threatening tumor, cancer, and then, life-threatening disease. Whereas to me, that's one significant group who are
Mhm.
really needing help. And on the other hand, in the past few years, I observed people, I mean, And people can have this and that and a small, medium, and not big deal health issues. But most importantly, a lot of people returning, even though it's a very small percentage, they come here to heal themselves on multiple levels. We have our
Mm.
physical body, emotional body, energetic body, and also we have our childhood woundings, and we have ancestral burdens, we have karmic patterns. So these things all take time and take space and take effort. And this is the best part of entity, putting the right people in front of you to have some interactions and potentially trigger some of your woundings. And then it's natural to say, oh, someone making me angry and somebody this and that. That's one way to look at it. But on the higher level, we're on the sacred ground, and this is the crystal energy, the vortex is for us to look at the mirror to see, this situation make me feel certain way. And this person say something and I feel a lot of anger, frustration, resentment rising. So this is where that's worth the gold to see, okay, what I can transform and then what can reflect. And then for these past few years, I wrote so many journals, and then the entity, the triangles, and entity basket, and they are listening to everything I say because in the journals, there's no censorship, and you can talk as much as possible, share details, and you can say whatever, and the entity is listening to my internal process. So they continue purify and they continue transform, and also they sending message through different people, through situations, or through the animals, or through the birds and the cats and the insects. They all bring message to give me feedback. And if I pray the thing is not good for my high school, then the entity cut connection with people, which is also bring some devastation, bring some emotional turmoil for me. But that's again, when you go deeper, there's many layers, and then depends on whether you're willing to look at it. So back to the visitors, that people who are returning, they are very dedicated to Casa because it's expensive to fly from Europe, from US, and people save money and then they stay here for 3 weeks, 2 months, and then they go to Casa. They almost stay in Casa all day, and then they pray, they meditate, and then they help other people, relatives, and then they are very grateful Casa. And then at the moment, they're still um, it's a miracle that Fruity survived, and then currently Sarah Ford, the owner, is going through some improvement renovation to make the hotel in a better condition. And Luz Divina still open for groups, and then there's some other posadas still opening, and then yeah, so there are still some crystal shop and then some basics facilities. Everything's still running, and then people who survived in the storm, literally survived of long period of silence when I come to practical business aspect. Yes. Hmm.
Yes. And Abadiania still energetically is so powerful. Isn't that what you mean when you say um, it is still there? The energy is still there in Abadiania.
Yes, the entity has never left us. Entity has always been watching us, supporting us. It's just a matter of paying attention. Where in the past, everything goes through the medium who sit on the chair, which is very effective, wonderful. At the same time, I see the time has come. The world is changing very fast, and people can be very lost. And there's a lot of fear, anxiety, uncertainty in the world. And that's a time for us to really look within and to start fine-tune our own intuition. Yes, it's a good idea to receive feedbacks and receive perspective through authority. And then at the same time, it's time for us to have direct connection with God, whichever means to connect with entities, and then to see in my heart what's my deepest passion and what's the right decision for me. and by taking into people's feedbacks into consideration about what works really well for me and what's my real path and what life lessons that I need to embrace and what blockage that need to unlock. So to allow prosperity, to allow awareness, to allow infinite possibilities come into our life. This is becoming more and more urgent that when there's more information floating on the internet, there's more than enough opinions around. There's a lot of influencers to tell us how things works, and it's easier for people to be really lost. And there's a different level crisis than the physical health challenges from my
Yes.
perspective. I guess in a sense, my challenge at the star seeds has been more spiritually, emotionally, energetically rather than life-threatening disease. So I'm sure in the podcast there's other ladies, other people have a lot more to say in that regard. But what I can share is my soul searching. It's that my soul going through um, strong washing machine effect and coming out, or it continues. So the spin hasn't reduced much, but my ability to adjust and then coming out to become more bronco, a lot more lighter, whiter, and a lot more
Yeah,
peaceful. So also
because you,
more awareness for the patterns. Yes, the
yeah,
pattern
because you
recognition.
have grown so much since 2019 was the actual time when the casa was getting quieter, and
Hmm.
you have grown so much since that. I mean, you feel it yourself,
Yeah,
yeah. You've grown in
uh,
5 years
yeah.
because
I guess this is
I've
a
noticed.
Yeah, that's a great credit contribution to Grainne, the big sister, because I remember we connect in 2018 and then in 2019 we have some interaction. Whereas during the COVID period, when I stay here, not like a tourist, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, when I really stay here and the entity start working on me on a much deeper level, which is before like I was busy running around and then looking and then just the lifestyle of a lot of people were staying here and then the game or the transformation become a lot more real and then there are many situations very pushing buttons like a lot of times I feel I couldn't make it for another hour or another day or I just don't know how to process emotions which is to do with my culture condition as well. Whereas there quite a few times for quite a while, I asked emergency help from big sisters to see, this is a situation. Please pray for me. And then, yeah, that period lasts for quite a while. I was going through very, very dark tunnel. And then this is the lessons and this is the experience I have to face. So where to look from outside, and then I guess things seems fine. But I knew what I going through. Where their big sister, your prayer has been the lighthouse in the middle of darkness, and until I become a lot more stronger, a lot more grounded, and then become more aware. This is a recurring pattern. So the initial life and death feeling or initial earthquake effect become a lot less smoother. So I've been there, done that, and then just everything become a lot more smoother. But definitely without you, I don't think I can make it. It just there's too many
Thank you.
situations, too many challenges, and I just
It was intense
and also it's
for
so intangible. It's not like logical things everybody can see. It's yeah, the depths of the soul. Yeah, going through pile of suffering and purifications, karmic completions, and then yeah, trauma release. Yes.
cycles and a lot of cycles and a lot of people pushing. everyone's buttons. I know prayer helped a lot. It wasn't easy for the last 5 years, but you have always shown up for prayer work and you always came to the waterfall, and it was always prayer that brought us together. And I think
Mhm,
you grew through all of those experiences that we had. Um, I told you before, I love when you say the rosary in Chinese, but I think
mhm,
that you have developed and grown so much. You're a different person than when I met you back in 2000 and 18 even or 19 when things were
mhm.
starting to slide at the Casa. But you have grown and are different now. Do you feel different than you did then?
Yeah, there's so much weight has been offloaded. And just like our discussion before, it's peeling layers and layer of onion, but you cannot do it everything overnight. You cannot do everything at the one go. It's an ongoing process. It's like surfing the wave always come. But the thing in Abadiania, because everything is more accelerated, so whether it's a good thing or your thought pattern, you think something, you walk into somebody and you thought about something, it can materialize very fast. And then I found a lot of prayers I answer instantly, most of them, 95%. At the same time, the other 5% or 3%, it take much longer because we have so many um, if you look at the soul journey, there's a lot of incarnation, a lot of many lifetime, many masters, and many masteries, and also many labor suffering. So at a different time, they can trigger um, different woundings. So I notice, especially early stage, that something triggers so deep. I have no idea why I'm feeling this way, but my soul is shaking. And gradually, the situation I can remember my past life connection with so and so, and then this and that because there's something either I have done in the past that the situation need to rebalance, or there's certain lessons that I haven't stood up for myself, and this person shows up again, and then I'm married to him in the past, and now he shows up again, this time for me to kick his ass and to really stand on my ground, to express in a firm way rather than just kind of being how should I say, give my power away. So there was many lessons, things like that. And also when there's a strong light, there's also strong shadows. So everything magnified, your emotional body and then your state of being.
Mhm.
So on one hand, it's easier to look at it, but on the other hand, negativity can also blow up, can also become a bigger. And then
Mm.
as much as people willing to heal, but on the other hand, there's also the shadow of narcissistic personalities and mental disorder. There's also plenty of these cases. So on one hand, they brought a lot of challenge, but on the other hand, that's also my journey to walk through, to recognize the pattern, and also to develop deeper compassion, as well as become stronger to say, I appreciate you, I understand your suffering, I respect your decision. At the same time, it's not at my expense of suffering and sacrifice. So to have love and compassion and with clear
Mm.
boundaries. Yes, clear boundaries is one of the biggest lessons I have come across because that there's also to do with my patterns to be nice and friendly. And then the next things that some people appreciate, but some people want to walk over. And then I don't always fully recognize where the line draws. So, yeah,
You learned that in Abidjan because
big
there was
time.
less people. Yeah, there was less people in 2019. There wasn't practically no people in 2020. So you could see your patterns repeating themselves and you
Mhm.
learned from them, whereas a lot of people didn't, but you did. You know, a lesson will be repeated until it's learned, but you actually talked about when things happen to you, you said this is a pattern that is repeating. And I learned from that too. So you, my little sister, taught me, the bigger sister, a lot of things as well. So it wasn't just you learning your way through a lot of stuff, it was me learning from you too. So it was a two-way street, like a reciprocal learning. You were my teacher and I was your teacher. Am still to this day. But
Yes,
in
I'm very grateful. Mhm.
yeah, and in Abadiania now, I see more people are coming back from the old guard, people who had been there, many years ago, and they're just coming back now. Did you notice that?
Yes, there's I met quite a actually 3 or 5 people. They haven't been back for 5 or 7 years. They feel called, they feel guided to coming back, and they will continue coming back. So I see this is cars are going through a period of quietness, and now the next momentum is rejuvenation. People who are, going through some challenges of there was some restrictions, and then they're coming back and for the next phase of their transformations, which is very enlightening and very exciting. Because back then was 3,000 people, and then there was some political situations, and then the frictions, and also some people kind of like going to see, I'm going to take a picture with the medium draw. It's like you're going to a concert, you want to find a rock star and then have that moment. So I believe over time there's less of these kind of intentions just to check out who he is, and then rather humbly to say, yes, I have something to work on, and I like to eliminate my suffering and to transcend the limitations and to find anchoring, find the truth within ourselves, and in turn to be able to find, to help support the people around their community and to become the lighthouse of their circle of influence. And I see this is a journey of while heading towards the concept of oneness that we um, the minority start becoming the lighthouse, so the majority follows. Yeah,
Yeah.
the awakening part. Yeah.
Yes. And this where true healing is in the lesson being learned, you know, because a lot of stuff people were pushing our buttons, uh, you know, together even, and we just had to learn the lessons. And once they're learned, then nobody can really touch you then. But I saw you really, taking on board a lot of um, heavy karma from people and really being understanding with people, which is not easy when there's few people around and the people who are there are shouting the loudest, because you can hear them because there's less people. But you were always very um, diplomatic, let's say, and never really became enraged or, that was my teaching. You never let people take you out of your center. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I think that that really was great teaching for me. That some people really, I just want to slap them. Well, because they push your buttons or they just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and it's a small town, and you just think, why can't they learn? But what you see in others exists in you. But I think we work together as a team. You asked me to help you a few times, and then by doing that, you helped me because I learned from you. So I see this more intense in a town that has a smaller population now. that Abadiania has a much smaller population. So we see more of an intensity of healing, if you like. There are more opportunities for us to,
Accelerated. Mhm.
yeah, there's more opportunities to help to heal because you often, even with the animals and everything, and I know there was a lot of, oh, not more animals or whatever, but you always were talking about blessings. You never saw the animals as an intrusion. You just see them as blessing us, which is a great way to look at animals because obviously the Brazilians don't see it that way, whereas you see everything as a blessing. So that reminds us and me to remember that everything is a blessing, even the things that are difficult, like abandoned animals or people pushing your buttons. You said everything was a blessing. Remember, we were even down at the waterfall, and you're like, oh, butterfly blessings, rain blessings, monkey blessings, toucan blessings. Everything was a blessing, which is true, you know, and that
And
is a teaching.
patience. Yes, and then we talk about, and over time it proved itself, patience wins. I never consider myself as a very patient person because I tend to be running around and I would like things to be fast. But at the same time, I guess this is where life is guiding me, training me to be more settled into myself. It's like in a boxing ring, and then the boxer can come from different directions, but when you are centered within, when you're more peace, you're more aware of what's really happening, and then deal with accordingly, rather than what happened in general with people. If something happened, they first have to deal with emotions and take a lot of time to calm down, and then they deal with problems. So I see it's a more efficient way if we can all cultivate our peace, our clarity, our centeredness, and then once there's a problem, we'll go directly into deal with the problem with multiple solutions, with maybe multiple advisors. So I hope, gradually more people can embrace that journey rather than first complain or go into victim mode or what do I do? And then they have to calm down for a long time and then go into problem solving. So I see the spiritual life also has a very practical way of guiding our day to day, which is, people can choose to live in monastery, they can choose to go to Himalaya, just be by themselves and then to have the universal connections. On the other hand, the real initiation is day to day, how you deal with people around you, how you handle situation, what happens, things are out of the blue, and then what happened, there's a challenging situations, which is, yeah, and which is, you mentioned about the animals. I feel the greatest intimacy with the furry animals and cats and dogs. And on one hand, there's, the local, they drop off the animals at the casa to say, okay, the foreigners, they deal with it, and then bye bye. But on the other hand, on the bigger picture, when the dogs arrived last year and also this year, and they all different. And then
Mm.
they also like us somehow, on the soul level, they hang around the casa, they receive a lot of blessing. And some of the dogs, they're trying to get into the current or the blessing line. I wish there's a line for the animals, all the cats. And then I remember there was a few dogs and then trying to work with the people. And then they did make it to inside the meditation room, but they got brought out. So that was quite cute. And then the people who visit Casa, they all pet the dogs, oh, so cute, and then this and that. So, and then some people feel the bonding, they want to take the dog home to their home country, which is a process. But I see it's entity has its own arrangement. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, the cats and dogs also have a very pure soul. When the dogs arrived last year in Easter, I see that open new chapter for me. Like I start feeling more connection with them. I start feeding them often, and now adding a lot of water for them for the dry season. And then I made a strong friendship at the bar station. So I, organized hot dogs and then leave a party for them. So I see they turn me into animal mom, you know.
Oh yeah, and you do a great job with them.
That's a
Yeah.
really a big change. And as I take on more animal as my children at heart, even though I didn't fully adopt all of them. But on the other hand, I also made some transfer. I start looking at the people in the way that, okay, they just want the children. So that, it's not the same love I feel, how I feel about animals towards someone who's 50, 60, 70 years old, and then, with the big wounded 5 years old behavior. But at the same time, I see, the entity showing me through the purity of their spirit and open my heart more and to embrace more the quality of Divine Mother and to look at, okay, this person maybe not so young, but still there's a scared, distort, um, mistreated inner child there. That's why they behave in certain ways. So I have a glimpse of that possibility, and yeah, to embrace on that level, I guess it's a continuation of patience
Oh yes.
and transcendence.
Patience
Yes, yes.
wins all things. And we do pray that because it is a very slow work of God. And everything seems to have gone so slowly for the last 5 years, and yet it has gone so fast, you know?
Hmm. Yes, a lot happened. Yes. Mm.
A lot has happened in 5 years, and many people feel, oh, the Casa has changed. Sure, it has altered, but really now what you are describing is something more beautiful and pure that is happening at the Casa than was happening
Hmm.
when there was 5,000 people there every week. Can you
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that? Because it's really different.
Hmm. Yes. More. Yeah, it's peaceful. And then back then, in the one chair, there's four people, and then hopefully nobody's too big, and then you have to squeeze yourself to to fit in the chair. And then back then was after 1 o'clock, you have the zigzag, it's a long snake queue to get into current. And also, I feel like going to the toilet, but if I leave the queue, and then also the current was long, so. And then food is very full, and then all the place, and then the pricing, and I just yeah, back then was more yeah, was like it's like going to a seminar, the accommodation, place, a lot of conversation, which is it served the purpose. Whereas now it's a lot more peaceful and more quiet. And then, of course, when more people returning, it will be very good for the local business from the hotel and to the shops and then to restaurant. That will be very meaningful, especially they happen to somehow suffer economic loss for a long time and then they happen to stay. So it's to me coming back to Casa to say, to have some care and contribution for the cats and dogs and also to the restaurant and to the hotels and to local business. To me, that's also part of giving back apart from, you make an offer to Casa. So it's a whole package of you give and now you also receive. Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's very peaceful, and you don't have to line up or jostle or be nervous or uptight to um, manage your way around the casa. It's so accessible to everyone. It's
Hmm.
quieter. There's more time for us to talk. I mean, before there was never time. Now we can talk to anyone for as long as we want, which is amazing.
Hmm.
Remember, it was just rush, rush, rush. Um, Little snippets of conversation here and there. No, There was no real connection. Whereas now, you can really get to know people and to talk with people and to hang out with people on their terms. You don't have to be, rushing a lot. And there's some people you want to talk more to, and some people you don't. So there's a variety of people there that is good, because less people and a better variety, in my opinion.
Hmm. Quality time. Yes, quality time.
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
choose to who you want to catch up with, who you don't want to catch up with. And sometimes you're tired, you need to rest and introspective. And sometimes you can also catch up with people. And then, yeah, there's also, like the restaurant over the weekend, Route 60, the river, there are local restaurants with a lot of variety. It's accessible by bike or by taxi. So there's also enough place and then for grocery, for medical checkout, and then yeah, there are some facilities, and also Brasilia, Goiânia, they also have what the capital, what the biggest city to offer, if people need some other practical aspect. So there are balance of lifestyle and possibility, retreat and nature and the waterfall is just as powerful as amazing. Yeah, because it's nature, and then yeah, and then waterfall can wash away all the impurity, and entity is infusing a lot of superpower inside. So yes.
And you're right, there is the big cities if you need medical attention or a different experience. If you want to go and spend a few $100s on a Argentinian barbecue, or which people do, I know. Or even, the different restaurants, like the Japanese restaurants, or you have brought me gifts of Japanese noodles, which I could never ever find in Abadiania. And you get them either in Annapolis or Brasilia. And I find this really exciting because it's such a treat, to get that from you just because you put your thoughts into um, making a special effort to get something special for a special occasion. So it's possible, you know. But it's the effort you make which makes everything worthwhile. You know, you have made the effort to go out and help people. So you are the one that has instigated a lot of the connection with people in the casa if they need something or if they want to ask you something. You know most of the stuff because you've been there longer than most people have over this last few years. So for that, I'm really grateful. And you're the to-go person. I mean, when new people come to town, they seem to gravitate towards you now because you know what's going on. That's really great.
Yeah, thank you. Over time, I found myself like if people feel connection with me, I becoming like a host in some way. So, and people ask me to show them around condominium, so I can show them the nature, and also the birds had to be the singing blessings, and then also the garden. Like, there's some green stuff growing in the garden. Then they like the environment, and also if they have any questions in regards to, you know, um, what's happening in Casa, and then some logistics, and then also um, over time also balance my own lifestyle. I go to Brasilia, go to Goiânia, and then to me the restaurant, the cafe, and then what's happening. Um, Also, it's good to have some city lifestyle as well as in the retreat peaceful style in Abadiania. So I guess to me both are important, not just one way, because it's not time age for me to retire yet. Where some people they kind of retired in Abadiania, which is wonderful, and then they take a walk in the alley, and some go to Casa, some don't go to Casa, and then across the highway there's a groceries and there's a restaurant. So people want to retire, they can also live a peaceful life. Whereas for me, it's also the balance of yeah, city life and versus spiritual retreat. So yes, I'm
Yeah.
explorer. So
And an adventurer, and you're not
yeah,
going to retire anytime soon.
yeah,
You know, you still have a long way to go and a big adventure ahead of you, which is great.
mhm,
You know, and also this time in Abidjan is not wasted for you. It's a very enriching time because as you give, you
mhm.
receive, and you're giving a lot, so you're receiving a lot, and you're getting to know people better from all over the world, you know. You know, deeper friendships with people who you may not have known had it not been for you staying there the last 5 years, you know?
Yes, it's such a big difference. I mean, before I spent time in Abadiania, like I went to a lot of seminars, retreat, and I meet a lot of people and from different industries and the business network, and then yeah, so I see I take a path of explorations. And then back then, the style is that you meet people, you can fly in, and then you meet people in a certain locations, and people opened up, share a lot of what's going on. So there's rather than just having you know, a surface conversation. At the same time, it's in short period of time and then going through a lot of sharing information. And in that format that to me, I have a broad range of people's experience, challenge, and the situations. Whereas the time spent in Abadiania, you come across same people over time. So this is a different type of pattern, different type of experience. When there's more depths, in terms of okay, over 2 or 3 years or even 4 years, I have better understanding how this person is running certain patterns. So to me, this is a compliment towards the wide variety I have come across in the past, and also people who are from different industries or from different walks of life that I may not possibly met when I was just more busy networking, say for example, whereas here to say, wow, okay, I get to know something really outside my normal or past connection of exposures. Yes. So
Hmm.
it's also very enriching. And then on the other hand, what I discover more, whether from past or from the past few years, is there's different nationalities, there's a different age, there's diversity, but deep down, the humanity suffers similar reasons, and then people are driven for similar motivations. So, and the back end, the Tony Robbins seminars and other retreats, and then to all the intervention case studies that already form a good foundation. So when I come to Abadiania, it's the next level going much deeper. And then you can say A, B, C, D, there's a name to it. But to me, over time, it's all blended in. It's about a case study, this person from this background and from this nationality and have this experience and have certain patterns and then they have certain um, limitations and also they have very inspirational aspect. So I'm learning from everybody. They all my teacher in some way, whether they enlighten me or whether they give me the biggest headache. But 5 years and 10 years down the track, the biggest headache become a smaller issues because I when I face bigger situations and then what happened in the past already lay another foundations. So in the end, everything happened for a reason. Just it's a long process for me to overcome the emotional barriers and to come through awareness to truly um, come to a place of gratitude. I'm still working on it. Yes.
Oh yeah, which is beautiful. But did you find that Abadiania enriched you because of the huge diversity, number one, of people from all over the world, and number two, of the different ages? I mean, there were young, old, sick,
Hmm.
rich, poor. Um, some people were just there for spiritual reasons. There are so many different aspects to Abijania, but you seem to
Hmm.
be able to embrace them all. Was that easy for you? I mean, so many different people.
Well, that's a very good question. That I guess before these 5 years, and I have some, I will say there's some foundation and then some exposure, which is make it a lot more easier to go with the flow, and then the journey just going deeper. And then I guess I don't have to walk through all the experience myself, but in if I hear enough stories and enough people's experience, I can still relate to, people suffering and then their relationship with um, the family situations and there's health challenge and then the emotional crisis. So I guess I find the interconnectedness that I have developed some level understanding of the hardship they're going through and also how their limitations and then make them run in circles. That I don't always have the solutions, of course, but at least I
Yes.
feel that I developed a good understanding of diversity and then also um, through experience and through interactions, through intuitions, that I can also develop better understanding of what they are going through, where they are in life, in their cycle, regardless of age. So I see this is I guess this is part of my journey. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
I've
And
been
that's a
guided,
very,
trained. Yeah.
yeah, it's a very good answer because it's almost like, and I don't know if this is the right way to put it. It's like Abidjan is a huge, big university of life, and you're meeting people from everywhere. Even now, especially with more people coming back slowly but surely, it's still quiet. You're meeting people from so many different places with different problems, different attitudes, different backgrounds that it's a huge learning. And you get on well with everyone that comes there. You don't differentiate between one or the other. It's just people graduate towards you because you are there for them, which is true. I see people connecting with you a lot because you don't see that they are older, younger, sick or not sick or whatever. But you are providing a service in this school of life, if you like. I think this is what I see you as. You're a very important part of Abitania right now because it's in flux, it's in movement, it's growing. And yet, even though there's not a lot of people there, you're there to support people.
Yeah, I guess, to be part of the casa and then to continue heal, transform inside out at the same time to see what I can do. And I suppose like I look not so I look friendly and then when people see me talking and interacting with the dogs and then that also make them relax and then make me look more approachable, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, if
That
your
would
dog
be the
doesn't
ideal icebreaker, in a different form. Yeah.
if your dog doesn't like somebody and barks at them, then it's an alarm, really. I noticed that if my dogs start barking at somebody, I just automatically take their word for it over the humans because dogs can read energy feels better than humans. So all the dogs graduate towards you and you put out water and
Like,
everything for them. So you look after them and they in turn protect you.
yeah, well, yeah, that was really blessing that there's quite a few times there's five dogs and three dogs, and then, walking down together, it's like a whole entourage. So I feel very honored in a way. And then also Ellie, the black and the white dog with the eye cover, and she's being recently adopted. And then yeah, she has been following me a lot, and then I wait for my appointment, come back with me. So there's quite a few case of blessings, and also other dogs when I come to Casa, and also initially they keep wanting to come to condominium and they don't want to leave, and then I have to bring them out, and so that was
But
a
cats,
very cute memory. Yeah. Mm.
because you love Ginger, your cat as well, and Ginger loves you. So you have to find the happy medium, the common ground, because the dogs in the condominium sometimes can, well, dogs chase cats sometimes, but I think he did it very well. I think he did the balance very well because it wasn't easy. They were all following you like the Pied Piper, you know, and because you were treating them with great respect and great love, and they feel that. I
Mhm.
personally feel we don't deserve animals, and I think that this craziness in Brazil, it's particular to Abadiania at the moment because there's less people of abandoned dogs. And I think that all of you guys do an amazing job helping with adopting them. I heard James Bond just got adopted.
Dreams being about adopted. So that's the thing that feel I do what I can, being the dog mom, I really feel that way. And at the same time, there are a few ladies, they are doing rescue and then finding dogs home professionally. So, or they putting more effort, more energy into it. So for me, my focus is Casa. At the same time, what I can do. So I see collectively, if we can all improve the welfare of animals. And then recent there's some council meetings. So there are quite a few people from Abadiania show up. So when they show up, and then the government have to pay attention to this topic. So this is also being ongoing discussion that if the city council can put in more resources, more effort, and there will be a lot less stray animals suffering on the street. So yeah, I guess there's still a very big topic and an ongoing mission. So I hope in time there will be fundamental solutions rather than individual effort, and the resources still limited. And then people live locally need to grow more consciousness and more awareness to see they are sentient beings. They are not just, they get pregnant or they got sick and then you throw them on the street. And also they are just like human. They need to make Medicare. They need some ongoing maintenance just like us. So rather than just some of the local way, the dogs stay inside in the morning, come out, and then but they don't always have again, that's also a financial thing. They don't always have the awareness or the money to give the deworm pill and the vaccination, and these things also, and castration, they also add up to be certain amount of spending, whereas there's a lot of locals still yet having trouble to put food on the table. So there's quite a big imbalance here. Do you help more people? Do you help more animals? And then, yeah,
Yeah,
there's still a little
it's
bit heavy,
hard,
big topic. Yes. Yeah.
but it will work out in the end. I mean, it's all about lessons, and the work continues in the casa without a doubt. I mean, it's It's so amazing now. The world needs the Casa and the Casa energy more than ever before, I feel.
Mhm.
And I feel it out here in the world, that the Casa energy is very important. And you being part of that is really important right now, and I'm happy that you're still there. And I'll be back to see you soon. I'm just out on leave for this, but I'm really happy to talk to you about this sunflower because you have really got your message across today. We were laughing that we lost our other podcast, but this one is much better because you
This
got
one
to
flows much better. Mhm.
yeah, and express yourself as a caring, loving daughter of the Casa, and that it's necessary that you're there right now. Um, and for giving us an insight into what the Casa is like. Thank you for that. We need that.
Yeah, this is today is a special full moon in Sagittarian, and also the Maya calendar. Today is a day one of blue storm. So yeah, this is a very special period timing, and there'll be more stormy transformation, dramatic change in the coming days and weeks. So this is really the time for us to have faith and to connect with inner peace, and then to um yeah, Casa can really help us to make the transition a lot more smoother. And then I'm so grateful that we are having this meaningful conversation, sharing and respect reflections, and then yeah, and then looking forward to see you back, and we will go to waterfall and watch the blue butterfly, and then maybe the little monkeys will show up and be playful as well. So yes.
Yes, playtime for us,
Yes,
which we
the
really enjoy like children. We're always like children looking around. It's fun. It's always fun.
yes,
So thank you for talking today to us from those who believe. And this is really beautiful insight, Sunflower Joy. So from my heart to yours, thank you for joining.
lots of gratitude, lots of heart.
Loads, always, always. You're my sister, always.
Yes, I prayed for our podcast to flow really very well, and entities definitely hearing us and supporting us.